is a pillar of national development and should not be compromised. Cleopas Malala also weighed in, warning that efforts to dismantle free education would undo years of work by previous regimes.
Nyinyi mnajua vizuri, Mwai Kibaki alianzisha masomo ya bure. Mwai Kibaki alipatia watoto wetu masomo ya bure. Uhuru Kenyatta akakuja akapeana madarasa. Yule Moi alipeana maziwa ya bure. Lakini Ruto sasa amefika kwa chakula ya watoto, anataka kukula paka chakula ya watoto. Sisi tumeambia William Ruto kwamba hakuna mambo ya kutoa free primary and secondary education. Kama wewe ni mwanaume William Ruto, ukijaribu kugusa pesa ya free primary na free secondary education, sisi tumesema tutaweka watoto wa shule wafanye maandamano, wakuwe mbele, tuende State House, tutoe katika State House. Jameni, mko tayari? Tumesema kama William Ruto atagusa pesa ya free primary, tutaweka watoto wa pre-primary mbele, watoto wa primary mbele, watoto wa JSS, wa secondary, wa university, alafu sisi tukoe nyuma, akitaka atuue wote, lakini hatagusa hiyo pesa.
William Ruto, you found free primary education by Mwai Kibaki. Uhuru Kenyatta did 100% transition of children from primary school to secondary school. Ulipata mambo ya university ikiendelea vizuri. You want to kill the future of Kenya and it is not possible. William Ruto anataka kumaliza masomo lakini haitawezekana. Na badala ya kuua watoto 2027, si ataenda nyumbani? Si ni kuchukua kura? Aende home? Si ni one term? Ni one term? One term.
Siku ile ulichaguliwa kuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, ulipata Kibaki amefanya masomo ya bure. Uhuru Kenyatta akatusaidia ya secondary imekuwa ya bure. Wewe William Ruto, inawezekana watu wanakuadvise ni watu kama Oscar Sudi, mtu ya class 3. Mtu anaitwa Faruki Bet, mtu ya class 4. So wewe hauoni hata ile mtu yenu hapa anaitwa Mundege sijui class ngapi? Class ngapi? Class ngapi? Class ngapi? Nyinyi ndio mnamjua class ngapi? Aliachia class ngapi? Class ngapi?
Right, moving on, the Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury and Economic Planning, John Mbadi, has defended the government over recent concerns surrounding the funding of Kenya's free education programs, stating that the government's model was initially subsidized and later announced to be free day secondary school. Now speaking during a recent public event, Mbadi addressed growing public backlash over his earlier remarks, suggesting that the government has no free education program. He clarified that what the government offers is subsidized education, particularly in day secondary schools, rather than fully funded education. He added that students in junior secondary schools are entitled to 15,000 Kenya shillings annually, while those in primary schools receives 1,400 Kenya shillings. Mbadi admitted that the government has been falling short of meeting the full allocation of per student, leading to accumulated debt to schools across the country.
One single thing that we remember Kibaki for. But for the 10 years that he was a president, he never attempted to start or introduce free secondary education. I hear people say that Kibaki was able to teach or have our children learn for free. It is not true. He made sure that our children went to school for free in primary school. For secondary school, it is President Uhuru Kenyatta who started this initiative of, Kwanza, it was subsidized secondary school. Then later he announced that it should be free day secondary school. And so each child in day secondary school, right now, according to government policy, should be paid for 22,000 shillings every year. For junior secondary school, it is 15,000. And for primary school, it is 1,400. But I want to tell you this, and that is the fact, that since the introduction of free day secondary school, the government has not been able to give or allocate every student 22,000. It has never happened. The government has always been having debts for schools, and this teacher can tell you, the principal. That is why you hear principal saying, we have not received full capitation. But let me tell you this, the government disburses the whole amount allocated in the budget, but still it is not enough. So, the only thing I did yesterday was to confirm that yes, we have allocated so much budget and we are giving it in full, but it is not enough to give every child in Kenya 22,000 shillings. That budget, if you divide by the number of children in Kenya who are in senior secondary school, you will only get about 17,000. And that is the story. That is what has been happening when Uhuru was the president. It is what we have even now. In fact, yesterday I was wondering when MPs were asking me why I have not released 22,000 per student. I asked them, where do I get that money? It is them who passed the budget. In fact, the latest budget, even the capitation we had put, Parliament reduced it further. So once a budget has been allocated, where do I have money? Where do I get money to pay the full 22,000? So whatever is there will be paid.
Right, now let's talk matters politics. And leaders allied to former Deputy President and DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua have continued to harshly criticize President William Ruto's administrations over what they described as state-sponsored abductions and killings during the recent anti-government protest led by young Kenyans. Now speaking during a series of rallies held in Manyata and Runyenje's constituencies in Embu County, the leaders accused the government of using excessive force to silence dissent and ignoring the cries of younger generations. The leaders demanded accountability for the alleged abductions and killings and called for immediate investigations into the reported human rights violations.
Walishika huyu mkonji, kijana mpole, kijana hana maneno, lakini ukiangalia huyu mkonji ambaye waliita terrorist, wewe ukiangalia Ruto na huyu mkonji, nani anakaa terrorist? Ruto ameterrorize masomo, watoto waendi shule. Ruto ameterrorize SHA, hakuna pesa hospitali. Ruto ameterrorize Gen Z, anasema shutiregi, shekiregi, sijui what.
Wewe rais, umeamua kuua vijana wetu. Umeamua kumaliza Gen Z. Umeamua kuabduct Gen Z. Sasa umefikia young leaders of the nation. Mtu kama Mokonji, chairman wa young members of parliament. Wewe unataka nini na vijana wadogo? Wale ulikuwa unaita mahasla. Wale ulikuwa unaita utawafanyia kazi. Wale mama mboga ulikuwa una point. Wewe unataka nini? Kwa sababu kazi yako ni kuua vijana na kunyanyaza viongozi wao. Aende asiende? Aende asiende? Wangapi wanasema aende?
Mumeona ameenda kule Masai Mara, pale ambapo kuna wanyama wale wa wildebeest. Amechukua hiyo shamba, amejenga hoteli yake yeye mwenyewe. Ameenda Bomas of Kenya, ameuza Bomas of Kenya, anajenga pale hoteli yake na mtaki. Ameenda Western, ameuza Nzoia Sugar Factory, ameuza Mumias Sugar Factory, ameuza Chemiril Sugar Factory, ameuza Moroni, ameuza Miwani Sugar Factory. William Ruto ni mwizi ama si mwizi?
Mimi nataka kuuliza William Ruto swali moja tu. Kwa nini anachukia Embu hivyo? Wakati wa maandamano ameua watoto wa Embu wengi sana. Alafu ameshika bili, si ni kweli? Akashika kijana ya Muturi, si ni kweli? Si juzi ameshika kiongozi wetu hapa. Ni nini anatafuta na watoto wetu? William Ruto tunasema wewe ni nini? Sasa unajua, wakati unataka kumaliza dunia, unaingia kwa masomo. William Ruto, hii mambo ya masomo imetengenezwa na viongozi mbele yako. Kwa nini sasa unakuja kuhangaisha Wakenya? Tunasema fanya kazi, ufanye nini? afanye nini?
Now, National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has urged Kenyans living and working abroad, particularly in the United States, to be cautious about politicians he described as propagandists without vision. Now, speaking during a Women Empowerment Forum held at Nyache Grounds in Basi constituency, Kisii County, Wetangula warned the diaspora community against being swayed by political figures, spreading misinformation and lacking a clear development agenda. The event was organized by Kisii County Women Representative Doris Ndenya Aburi and brought together hundreds of women across the region. Wetangula acknowledged the vital role played by Kenyans in diaspora in driving the country's economic growth. He noted that remittances sent home by citizens living abroad have significantly contributed to strengthening the nation's economy.
Ile tunaomba viongozi wote wa Kenya, ukiwa nani, upende nchi yako. Nimeona mkiongozi moja ameenda Amerika, hata hajui what remittances from Kenyans in the diaspora means. Hakuna Mkenya huko nje. There is no Kenyan in the diaspora who sends money to the government of Kenya. They send money to their families, to their friends, to build the country, and that is what stabilizes our foreign exchange. Sasa ukienda huko nje ukisema msitume pesa kwa Kenya, hakuna Mkenya. Wale watu wanasungumzia, wanakucheka, wanasema mjinga huyu ametokea wapi? Kwa sababu hakuna mtu anatumia serikali ya Kenya pesa. Ile kijana yake anakutumia mama, ikifika hapa ikiwa ni $10, Central Bank inabadilisha inakuwa pesa ya Kenya, na hiyo dola inabaki Central Bank, ina stabilize our foreign exchange. Sisi tukiwa katika bunge, kazi yetu ni kusawasisha nchi yetu. Bonus inayolipwa Kisii iwe bonus inayolipwa Kericho, iwe bonus inayolipwa Murang'a, iwe bonus inayolipwa Meru. Kwa sababu majani yetu ikienda England, ikienda Pakistan, ikienda Afghanistan, ikienda Kazakhstan, ikifika huko hakuna label ati hii ni majani ilitoka Kisii, hii ilitoka Kericho, hii ilitoka Murang'a. Ni majani, the product of.
Right, moving on to matters healthcare, and doctors in Laikipia County may soon down their tools following a 21-day strike notice issued by the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentist Union, that is the KMPDU South Rift chapter. Speaking during a press briefing, Union Secretary Dr. Omondi Stephen expressed frustrations over the country, or rather over the county government's continued failure to address issues outlined in their collective bargaining agreement. He warned that unless the demands are met, doctors across the county will withdraw services. Among the key grievances raised by the union included delayed promotions for doctors, some pending for more than 10 years, poor remuneration and continued employment of doctors under casual terms, denial of study leave affecting career progression, failure to remit statutory deductions, leaving many doctors unable to access essential services such as loans. Now, Dr. Omondi noted that the union has made repeated attempts to engage the county government, but no action has been taken.
The statutory deductions, the county is not remitting the statutory deductions, but they deduct it from the pay slips of these specific doctors, thereby giving these doctors suffering, whereby they cannot even be able to access loan services. We have a medical cover that is not consistent. Today the medical cover works, tomorrow it is not working. So for those particular reasons that we have said that we have no any other reason other than to declare a strike notice of 21 days that will begin on Monday and will start counting from Monday and will begin on the 15th of August.
Come to Laikipia because of the issues that have been raised by our members, and we have actually held several meetings with the county team, and the discussions have always ended up with no progress. And even as recently as today, we had a meeting, and the response even from the county secretary is that they can do nothing. So we as a union are standing here boldly saying that our members will not continue to be disgruntled and be demotivated by the inaction and irresponsibility.
All right, now Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has urged the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, that is the IPOA, to exercise caution in its public statements regarding police conduct, especially in relation to recent anti-government protest. Now, speaking to the media, Murkomen emphasized that IPOA's primary mandate is to investigate and not to accusatory, warning that premature or one-sided remarks could undermine public confidence in the security forces. Now, the CS further called on the IPOA to adopt a balanced approach by also addressing criminal acts committed during the protest, including the theft of police firearms and the torching of police stations. He maintained that the government will not shield police officers who commit unlawful acts, but added it would also not abandon officers who are acting in line of duty to protect the nation during the chaotic demonstrations.
I gave a clear policy direction to the IG that police officers also have a right to use their ammunition to defend themselves and to defend the life of others. We also need to know that these people were carrying petrol bombs and carrying and stealing guns and burning courts and burning police stations. These are not ordinary citizens. So IPOA should call them out, because the people who are mobilized to come to burn a police station, steal a gun, burn guns, cannot be equated to peaceful protesters. You cannot therefore say there was a disappropriate use of force, because you have not measured the force of the petrol that was used to burn Kikuyu police station, for example, or Olkalau police station, for you to know. You haven't even said something about the remandees, or suspects that were in police station in Olkalau, where they were burned to death by these people. So you can't call them protesters, and you can't really quantify now to say that the police used to use proportionate force until you do proper investigation. I encourage, because IPOA still is within our sector, I encourage IPOA to become very careful with their statements they issue, because the investigative responsibility is in their own hands, because then they are likely to jeopardize their own investigations. If they pass judgment before they do the investigations, then Kenyans will ask, where is your file that indicts any police officer specifically? And this is...
Now, as schools prepare to officially close next week, leaders in Rabai constituency, Kilifi County, have called on parents to remain vigilant and protect their children from gender-based violence and other social ills during the upcoming holiday period. Now, speaking in Jimba Ruruma ward, the leaders expressed concerns over that the efforts to empower communities could undermine it if the next generation is lost to early pregnancies and drug abuse. Now, former Ruruma Ward Representative Jana Suma Kanjwele emphasized the need for parents to take full responsibility for the safety and well-being of the children during the holiday break. Now, his sentiments were echoed by Rabai Member of Parliament Anthony Kenga, who urged mothers to make use of the government and leadership support initiatives aimed at uplifting women at the grassroots level and enhanced their children's education.
Hivi karibuni zitafungwa. Tunahitaji wazazi ambao tuko hapa, watoto wakitoka shuleni tuweze kuwalinda na kuwatunza, kwa sababu watoto tusipowatunza na kuwalinda huenda wakapata mimba za mapema. Ndivyo sivyo? Kwa hivyo wakirudi tuhakikishe kwamba kabisa tunakaa nao pamoja, ili kusudi shule zikifunguliwa kila mmoja awe hana mimba za mapema. Kwa hayo mengi na machache, wacha nimkaribishe
mfuko wa CDF tunakuta kwamba pesa haitoshi kutosheleza kulipia karo ya mtoto yote. Kwa hiyo tumekuja na mfumo wa empowerment program kuwezesha makundi ya kina mama, vijana na wazee ndani ya Rabai sub county. Ndio maana leo tuko hapa Kaliang'ombe B katika zoezi hili, na nichukue wito kwa wazazi wote kutoka Rabai sub county. Tunafahamu kwamba watoto wetu sahihi wanaenda kufunga shule. Ningeomba wazazi wetu wazingatie hata watoto wakati wamerudi majumbani. Wazazi wetu wahakikishe kwamba wanalinda watoto wetu, hususan mtoto msichana, kwa sababu tunajua pia mwezi wa 8 uko na sherehe nyingi uko na sherehe za harusi, malozi na mambo mingi. Kwa hiyo tunatoa wito kwa wazazi wote wa Rabai Sub-County, msimu huu ambapo watoto wanaenda kufunga shule wiki ijayo, tunataka watoto wote wazazi waangalie na watoto pia waendelee kufanya masomo tushe hata wakiwa majumbani. Wanapofanya hivyo, tuko na matumaini ndani ya Rabai Sub-County mwaka huu mitihani ya kitaifa tutaweza kupata matokeo mazuri.
Now, police in Kakamega County are appealing to residents to help identify suspects behind a series of brutal murder that have sparked fear and unrest in Kakamega town and its outskirts. Now, the latest incident occurred early Friday morning when the body of a 39-year-old metal artisan, Walter Sinelwa, was discovered dumped near the gate of a Bwambwa Secondary School in Lurambi. According to police, Sinelwa was attacked and killed while on his way home from work. Now, his wife, Ali Zayuma, tearfully confirmed the death, saying that her husband had left work as usual and never returned. Sinelwa leaves behind 3 children and a pregnant wife.
Sisi tuko na hasira na uchungu. Watu wanauawa kienyeji kwa area yetu. Na tuko na serikali inafaa tusaidie. Serikali ikisikia mahali penye kuna pombe wanakuja mbio. Lakini mahali penye kuna mahalifu wakuji. Hospitali tuambie ukweli ama tuambie usaidie serikali tusaidie. Jeuzi wa mtu mlunyo hapa. Leo mwandu geti hapa. Singine omosaili moja ina kuya kichwa tu. Kwani sisi vijana wadogo watu kiwao bila makosa hatuibii mtu. Lakini kama ni pombe check umeshikwa.
Umekuwa mtu ya kufanya welding, mtu ya kufuga nguruwe. Na niko na hakika achakosea mtu yote. Kiangalia upande ya Lurambi kumekuwa na watu ambao nyinyi mnawajua ama muwajui wamekuwa wakiua watu. Mahali imefika tusinyamasiane, tusaidiane sasa. Nafikiri mnaona uchungu kiasi gani kwa huyo mama ambaye mwenye anatafuta hayuko. Na anakuja kuuawa kwa barabara tu. Yeye ametafuta zake, mtu amemngojea hapa. Mimi yangu ni machache. Kumbuka kwamba wale ambao wanahusika ni watu ambao wako na si ni kweli? Saa hii maajabu anaweza kuwa hako na sisi hapa. Wanaweza kuwa wanatuangalia, wanashinda tu wajinga wanasema nini. Lakini niwaambie siku sawa nafikiri si imefika. Mimi nitawaomba kitu moja tu. Nitapeana namba yangu. Wewe utajua mahali utanipigia mwenyewe ukipande chini ya miti ama chini ya shimo unielezee uniambie usibidii mimi niko na kakulu na yangu ni hivi na hivi na hivi na utusiweka fitina.
Kani na uchungu sana. Mtaa watu wanakufa, masoja wanakufa, watu wanauawa. Sisi hatujui tuko wapi. Nimeachiwa watoto kwa njia yenye mimi sijui. Ni huzuni sana. Watoto wangu ni wadogo na sijui nitaanzia wapi. Huyo ni mume wangu ameuawa. Chokozangi mtu, hajaishika kitu ya mtu. Ni mtu ameumizwa huku kwa macho, hata shingo yake ni kama imeka. Ameniachia watoto 3 na mimi mwenyewe pia nina ujauzito.
All right, now let's get sporty. KCB RFC will face Menengai Oilers in a much-anticipated quarter-final showdown at the Driftwood Sevens tournament after an unbeaten run through the group stages at the Mombasa Sports Club. Now, the Bankers began their campaign with a gritty 24-14 win over Daystar Falcons, showcasing resilience and tactical discipline. They followed it up a dominant of 43-0 demolition of host Mombasa RFC before wrapping up the day with a convincing 14-0 victory over the nondescripts. RFC now speaking after the group stage matches, KCB RFC head coach Dennis Mwanja lauded his team's performance and focus. Right, moving on, the battle of supremacy at PGK Equator Tower intensified as players teed off day 3 at the Limuru County Club with the top contenders separated by only a few strokes ahead of the weekend rounds. Now, Greg Snow emerged as the front runner after a spectacular second round score of 65, bringing his total of 9 under 135. Now Snow's consistent performance now places him firmly at the top of the leaderboard as pressure mounts heading into the final stages of the tournament. Now close behind is Edwin Mundanyi, who carded a solid 68 to move into a solo second place at 6 under par. Jeff Kubwa and John Karichu remain hot on his heels, tied at 5 under the par after delivering steady rounds. Now the top 5 players are within just 4 strokes of another, creating an electric atmosphere for promises to be a dramatic conclusion over the final 2 days.
My name is Macharia, and I am a member at Nyeri Golf Club, and yeah, I'm a professional golfer. It's amazing. I'm so thankful for the sponsorship from Safaricom. My biggest challenge has been staying active because we didn't have too many tournaments and you have to leave the country, and the expenses outside are insane. I think Kenya is a big powerhouse in Africa. This tour will grow insanely, and Kenya will be the hub, man. It will be the hub for golf in East Africa, and it will continue to grow.
My name is Mohit Medirata. I'm a professional golfer. Having Safaricom behind me is probably the greatest blessing one could ask for. The talent is there, and now that there's a path to the Olympics, it's exciting and definitely a goal of mine. A lack of consistent tournaments, but we can see that is slowly changing thanks to a beautiful company like Safaricom.
Right, Kenya's Michael Karanga will face South Africa's Pranay Kapoor in a thrilling final showdown at the 2025 NCBA Kenya Amateur Match Play Championship on Sunday, July 27, that is tomorrow at Sigona Golf Club. Now, the highly anticipated clash will see the 2 top amateur golfers battle for the prestigious national title, 130 Kenya shillings winner prize, and a direct ticket to the 2026 Magical Kenya Open. Now, Pranay Kapoor secured his spot in the final with a commanding 4-3 victory over Wasim Ali in the first semi-final. Kapoor dominated the match from the outset, showcasing impressive ball striking and precise course management to close the contest in the 3 holes of play. Michael Karanga's path to the final was far more dramatic. Facing John Lejrima in the second semi-final, Karanga carried a slender 1-up lead into the 18th hole. Both players reached the green in the regulation, setting up a tense putting battle. Despite the reputting, Karanga managed to halve the hole and seal a narrow 1-up win, denying Lejrima a chance to force a play-off. Alright, it is exactly 33 minutes past the top of the hour. That's going to wrap up our program here on EBN Weekend Edition. My name is Martin Macharia. Many thanks for, of course, keeping us company, and of course, for your feedback here on Facebook, and as well as our SMS line 23059. We do appreciate your time here on the program. My name is Martin Macharia, once again signing off. Do have yourself a lovely day, or rather a good night, and remember to go to church tomorrow. And as always, let's do this again when God says you do.